Hey everybody, it's Bob. Sorry for taking that week off last week. Um, there was a bunch of stuff going on with work, and between that and trying to get ready to go back to the Philippines, because I will be leaving this coming Saturday and going back to the Philippines. So in a week, I'll be back there. We landed a couple government contracts, and just a bunch of. It was a busy week last week, so I really didn't have a whole lot of time to mess around with this. Plus, I've been on this now about 8 months, and I haven't taken, kind of like a little break from it. So I took it. I'm ready to go, and I'm glad you're back watching the channel if you're watching this. So here's a couple topics I'd like to discuss today, and one of them is going to be what I'm going to be doing next week once I get back to the Philippines, what I'll be talking about, or some of the things I'll be talking about. And the other topic I'm going to talk about is I've been doing this now for almost 3 years. I'm going to give my insights to how everything goes as far as me bouncing back and forth between the Philippines. And I've discussed that, not in super detail in other videos, but I'm going to get into that, seeing I'm going to be leaving and going back. But what I'm going to start off with is, so this will be my first time going back to the Philippines after they changed some laws last year as far as going into the Philippines. And one of the main ones is the new customs line, where if you don't declare anything or you have nothing to declare, you can just go right through. No lines, no fuss, no muss. In my personal opinion, when I land at Clark, I have never had an issue where there's been a line and I just walk up, give them my paperwork. They ask me, hey, you have anything to declare? I say no, and they say, have a nice day, and I leave. It was that quick. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes, because I haven't experienced it yet. If anybody who's watching this has experienced it, go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know how it went for you with that new law. But I'll be discussing that, and I'll touch on the whole thing of the onward tickets, and if anything else changed as far as my trip from last year going back. I'll update that. So, things that I have learned or wish I knew before getting into all this. One of the main things is it definitely weeds out people you don't need in your life. I know that kind of sounds funny or weird, or why would that be? But if I've noticed that some certain people who I used to associate with, once I got to the Philippines, decided not to communicate with me. And then they got mad at me, and now when I'm back here, they don't want to talk to me. However, I realized that I was the only one communicating. So I think it's kind of funny that they're mad at me. Things like that will happen. Friends, family. There is a potential that they'll think you're crazy and they don't want to have anything to do with you. Others will support you. And I have both. When I made that decision 3 years ago to go back, or to go to the Philippines, it was all by myself. I had no backup, still have no backup. There was no real plan, just an idea, and I will figure things out as I go. And I have been fortunate enough to where things have worked out in my favor. It may not work out for everybody, but I am very fortunate that it did. As far as finances, I've learned a lot between foreign transactions. My advice to you, so it's a less of a headache for you financially, keep a active U.S. foreign phone. I'll get into that. And keep an active U.S. bank account. So with the phone, a lot of banks need that U.S. phone number. I ended up getting rid of my phone, my U.S. phone, because it was through AT&T. It was super expensive, and I didn't think anything of it until I needed to get, verification checks from the bank, and they needed to send codes. I was an idiot. Never thought of that. So I just ended up getting a simple prepaid phone, which I have now. It has a U.S. number. Doesn't work over there unless it's on Wi-Fi, and I still get text messages and all that. But I would go with cheap options if I was you. Save as much money as you can, especially if you're on a fixed income. You can do things like TracFone or, Verizon, AT&T prepaid stuff. Just keep it cheap. All you need is a number. I'm sure there's online stuff, voice over internet phones. If you can get those, get those. But always keep a U.S. phone number. Always keep a U.S. bank account, because such as Social Security, people are running into issues with getting transferred into a foreign bank account. Now, if you want a foreign bank account, you can always link your bank account in America to the foreign bank account. Yes, they may charge a fee, but it's a lot less than the ATM fee, and it still keeps you legit, and you can still access your money. You can still live a life. I'm no expert. These are just my experiences, my personal opinions. But definitely keep those two U.S. items: U.S. phone, U.S. bank account. With my U.S. phone, I'm going to touch into it a little bit more. When I ended up getting rid of it, I got rid of it over there. I canceled it. And that's why I decided, hey, let's see if people will contact me. They have my Facebook. They know how to contact me. Never did. And then they got mad at me here. Even though they knew I had a Facebook, even though we were friends for years, they still didn't. So I left it at that, and I walked away. I have no problem walking away from people. I've walked away a few years back from people who I knew for 50 years. So that's a whole nother level of IDGF, if you know what I mean. GAF, I should say. Sorry. Anyways, but that phone was just really draining my finances. I was paying through AT&T, which was insane, $275 a month base. On top of that, their $10 a day international plan went to $12 a day. And if our power went out and that phone was on, it would go right to the international plan. So it got a little expensive. The phone I have now doesn't do that. It doesn't have an international plan. It has nothing, but it works perfectly fine like a regular phone over the internet. That's what I advise you do. Or get, just if your phone bill is excessively expensive and you need to save money, that's what I suggest you do. As far as the relationship goes, it has its ups and downs. Her and I will be having a talk when I get back. I've tried to keep things on, kind of like a low level, just so, because she's in the apartment, so she has access to my stuff. I have cameras. She has access to the cameras, but she doesn't know how to operate the cameras, which is that's my benefit. She doesn't know how to erase anything. She's kind of tech savvy, but she isn't. She knows how to work Windows. She knows how to work 360 and things like that. But as far as like cameras on your phone and erasing things, she has no idea. So when I get back to the Philippines, her and I are going to have a little talk. It does make it hard here, having issues like that, especially when you have to work and you have to deal with your own issues here. So I kind of figured things like that might happen, and I would just handle it as it happens, and I am. But it does get tough, and you need to know that every relationship isn't perfect, and especially with Filipinas, all I can say is they're little firecrackers. It does make things a little bit more difficult. So you have to learn really quick if an issue comes up how to squash it, especially far away, especially if you're sharing a place, especially if your stuff's in that place. Yeah, over those 3 years, there are things that popped up that I never thought that I would encounter, such as getting an apartment. I thought I would just be going from place to place. That was my original plan. Get like Airbnbs and just keep everything small, pack light, just keep moving around the country. Ended up getting a relationship. Moving in the Philippines, that was an interesting feat from one apartment to another. It was definitely a learning experience. I've learned who I can trust. I've learned who my real friends are. And I've learned who how should I say, the wolves are in sheep clothing, who I was associating with. So, yeah, it's definitely been an experience. I may seem a little tired today. It's been a rough night because I had to do work. I'm the nighttime guy. That's why I do it when I'm in the Philippines, because it's daytime there. So didn't get too much sleep last night, so I'm a little awake, a little asleep. So again, thank you for watching my channel. I appreciate everybody, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.